The annual rugby match between Princeton and Yale is much more than just a game. It's for the Koranda Cup.
The Koranda Cup is a trophy that's given to the winner of the game in the spring season between Princeton and Yale, and it's awarded in memory of Rob Koranda, who was a senior and graduated in the class of 2002 and died in July of 2003 in the porch collapse accident that happened in the city of Chicago. Rob was the heart and soul of the team.
The memory of Princeton grad Rob Koranda has brought these two Ivy League schools together each spring season.
We decided with Yale to establish an annual tournament to both mark Rob's passing, but also to really mark the friendship and the collegiality that both Yale and Princeton rugby have always shared with each other.
Richard approached Jan and told him Rob's story and said we wanted to do something and remember Rob with a game because he loved the game so much. Jan came forward and was very gracious and said they'd love to participate, so that's how it started.
The battle for the Koranda Cup is always a competitive match and a memorable day for everyone involved.
It's always a very heated match, it's always a very hard game, usually very good rugby is being played, and a very even game.
We had this game circled on our calendars for the whole year. We were focused on Yale. Like, working out in the offseason was about beating Yale in the Koranda Cup and winning the Koranda Cup back.
From the first moment that I've kind of heard about the Koranda Cup, it's always been this really intense, really competitive game, and every year it's just as close as it was today.
From our standpoint, and I'm sure it's true for Yale, you know, there are now a lot of alumni that are very keen to know what happened, how it went, what the results were, and they want to hear the stories.
The Koranda Cup is rich in history and will continue to be for future generations of Ivy Ruggers.
It's one of the most important pieces of hardware that we play for, and there have been epic battles back and forth every year, and no matter how good each team is or how bad each team is, generally the games are very well played games like this today. We play it hard. We want that cup back every year.
What I love about the Koranda Cup is the game really matters. It may be the last game of the season for both of our clubs, but it really doesn't matter how our seasons went, whether Yale had a great season, Princeton didn't, or vice versa. It still matters enormously, and that's great. That's why we do it. It's why we all care about it. And forever it'll bring us together. It'll bring our universities together at the end of the spring season.
To play for someone who kind of stood for the ideals of rugby that means so much and make it so much more than just a game, adds a bigger incentive to the game.
In a testament to Rob Koranda, the couple continue to showcase the fierce competition and friendly camaraderie of Ivy Rugby. And a good afternoon to you, rugby fans. Welcome to Yale University. You see the Walter Camp gate in the background. It was at this athletic complex that an innovative rugby coach named Walter Camp invented American football. Today, this hallowed ground plays host to a rivalry, the Koranda Cup, between the Bulldogs of Yale and the Princeton Tigers. An annual match to remember Rob Koranda, Princeton grad, died in an unfortunate accident, have a cup named after him now. This game is almost ready to go. I am John Broker. I am here with Joey Erasmus. We see Miles McIver ready to kick off. Yale is going to be going from left to right on your screen. From right to left is Princeton. Joey, great game coming.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game today. The conditions were a bit wet and sloppier earlier, but it looks like the sun might be coming out in a little bit, which could mean we get some really great running rugby.
Koranda Cup 2023, currently held by Yale University, gets underway. As you see Yale on defense right away, Princeton, little punch off to the left-hand side, just working the ball around that. Ozar Razin gets it knocked back. Does their scrum have little chip ahead from Yale, pushed inside the 22. These wet conditions, as Joey said, will play a factor. Ball back to the Tigers. Tigers, big shot right there inside their 22, making a little room. Potential for a clearance kick. And ball rolls towards touch and in. It is going to be a line out for the Yale Bulldogs, just about 40 meters out.
The rain may have stopped falling, but you see the first slip of the game on that kick to touch there. The ground is certainly wet and a little bit sloppy, and we'll see if that impacts the kickers, especially as they try to plant their foot and get the ball off where they need to go.
A little look at the kick right there. Ball is down. Bit of a messy line out here early in the Koranda Cup. Ball away for Princeton. Razin gets it away. Ozar Razin getting involved quickly is the number 9. Ball worked back. Good pressure defense coming in from Yale. Set up, keeping the Princeton Tigers inside their 40-meter line. Nice long kick hanging up inside the 22 for Yale to chase back on. Aiden Stretch with that one. Aiden Stretch, sophomore from Washington, D.C., was a National Collegiate Rugby Scholastic All-American in the fall season. Now playing in this Koranda Cup.
A lot of time there.
Push off to the side there. They're in their 22.
A lot of time for him to find space there as the kick chase is a little bit slow and a little bit focused on where that ball lands, not filling the entire field.
You see referee McIver there whistling for the penalty. Early days, Joey, but it's going to be a bit of a kicking duel here, trying to get that wet ball in behind the other teams.
Yeah, in poor conditions, the territory game can be so important. You see Princeton, as the ball misses touch, struggling to get kicks off from the front foot. Maybe a good option there to kick an open play instead of setting the breakdown when they're going backwards.
Little kicking back and forth there. Winds up in a penalty against Yale for offside. Probably not completely intentional, but difficult conditions here. Referee McIver spots that one. We'll take a look.
And in the kick tennis, it can be really, really difficult to get your positioning right on the offsides as you're retreating and going forward and retreating and going forward. Importantly, if you're within 10 meters of where that ball lands, you need to retreat. You can't just stand there, and that was the issue. The players were not retiring away, and that's what caused the offsides penalty and gives Princeton a line out in great field position after receiving the ball deep in their own half.
Princeton ready to walk this in. You see number 5, Kenny Okora-4. Good line out option here, but he's going to be a lifter in this one. They go to the front and come down with it. Going to move the ball into the back. Some waiting forwards in the middle of the field there. Connor Levine was standing outside, but the run comes in without him. He's going to have to go in just in the supporting role. Winning that ruck. Ball off to the left-hand side here. That's Higginbottom. Higginbottom, a big fella, the senior 6'2". Player for Princeton takes that one in, and back across come the Tigers. Got options in either way. Yale working hard at this breakdown, but it will come back to the Tigers. Squirts forward, but regathered. Look for a counterattack here from Yale. Have done. Waiting pod inside their 22 still. See if they decide to try to run this one. Just 4 minutes gone in this Koranda Cup. They're going to go back and look for the kick. Kick is not going to find touch. A little bit of an issue there as the ball goes up to Stanley Shapiro. Shapiro pushes it out wide. Big tackle comes in, back at their 40. Pressure coming on them. Players' hands went over there in that breakdown. Have they been able to take it away? Yale have not. That is Ozar Razin again. Puts this one out to a waiting forward. Just playing a little tight here. Conditions-wise are the Tigers. Back out there to Higginbottom. Higginbottom takes a couple to take him down. He is a large fella from Nantwich, the United Kingdom. Played at the King's School in Chester. Ball down here for Princeton. Players coming over from Yale. Referee McIver happy with everything, allowing play to flow. Little sneak off to the left-hand side, taken down. Is he going to be able to get that one away? Yale's going to tear that one away. Nice turnover from the Bulldogs. Trading possession here just in this part of the field for the last minute or so are these two Koranda Cup competitors. Potentially looking a little wide here as they go back for hopefully a better kick. This one's going to slow things down, find a little touch. Be a line out here to the Tigers, Joey.
Yeah, and the Tigers will have possession again. Yale is super aggressive at the defensive breakdown, committing 1 or 2 almost every single time. And they're getting a bit of purchase there because the Tigers aren't doing a ton of really aggressive and active groundwork. They're being kind of passive on the ground, which is letting the Yale players get hands on the ball, mess up the quality of the ball, and sometimes you see it squirting out of the back of the ruck. So something technical for the Tigers to maybe improve on to get better quality possession.
And another messy line out comes up. Yale trying to run over that one, and they have done at their home ground. They've stolen into the ball, looking to go wide this time. Little look, little pass, almost winds up back in Princeton hands. Referee has a knock-on advantage, be a scrum if nothing happens here for the Bulldogs. See me phases, they let it go, little offload again. Referee whistles, we're gonna bring it back here for a scrum, early scrum here for the Bulldogs right at their own 40-meter line. Great attacking opportunities from here, Joey.
Yeah, midfield scrum, you got options right and left. The Tigers have done a really good job of getting into the Yale territory, and it looks like against the wind by the flags on the field, so they need to make this territory pay off in terms of points. You can't play into the wind and not come away with points in the half.
See Coach Craig Wilson of Yale there, the contact coach, looking onto his team in the spring season. Just came back from a lengthy tour of Ireland and Scotland. Picked up some rugby knowledge on the road there, did the Bulldogs.
And again, the sloppy ground playing a little bit of havoc on scrums today.
Jacob Koch, scrum half, takes that one away. Bulldogs a little way down the short side here. Had some open runners outside. Decide to keep it in just a little tight. Pressure at the breakdown coming from the Tigers. Princeton back on the defense there as the Bulldogs put in a forward charge. They've got a midfield pod if they can get it to them. Ball comes in just a little slow. Able to maintain possession, have another few runners out wide here. Ball comes quickly all the way to the wing, but nothing happened out there. Ball back to the 22. A messy game so far. Both sides here going to have to reset, maybe look to the boot, the Bulldogs. We'll see what they decide to do. Ball back at the end of that ruck. They're going to take this one again and put it in behind. Now they're trying to move it wide. They've got some runners. Better move this time. They've got another runner outside. Big break. Cross the 50-meter line. Go the Bulldogs. They're at the 40. Good attacking position. You see that defense from Princeton. Really struggling to get back there on the front foot, but a knock-on creeps in. In the wet weather, it's Princeton ball with a knock-on advantage. Yale now going to have to get into their defensive shape. Nice launching kick there from the Tigers. Tigers down to the 22 of the Bulldogs. Just raking his way back around. There's Aiden Stretch. Going to want to do something with this ball. He's going to take it around the corner. He's across the 22. Big hit from a couple of these Princeton Tiger players. Another forward pod coming here. Just a bit of back and forth, Joey. Neither team has really been able to make any major breaks here. Just kind of trading their way in. Penalty there against Yale. So Princeton will go quick. We'll get back to discussion on the game in just a minute. Okorofor takes that one in for the Tigers. Little pick up the back there from Maple Moody. Moody, sophomore from Seattle, Washington, gets it out. Coming across the width they are. A couple of opener runners wide. They couldn't get it to. Ball kicked straight out into the hands of Yale, but another knock-on creeps in. If nothing happens, we'll come back here for a scrum to the Tigers just outside the 22. Just saying, Joe, just a little bit of back and forth here. Some attempts at good play. Weather playing a little bit of havoc here, but neither team really kind of taking this game on.
Yeah, well, we see there the ball squirts out of the breakdown, and that's what we talk about being passive on the ground, especially in these sloppy conditions. You've got one move that the referee allows you. You need to take space with that move. You need to own the space on the ground and hold that ball secure to make it easy and clean for your 9 to play. But again, this territory has been all in favor of Princeton the last couple of minutes. You'd like to see them find a way, whether it's kicking one of those penalties for points, just get the scoreboard ticking over.
Ball taken in there by Princeton, lost a little bit of ground. Most of their runners off to the left-hand side, but they're going to go to the right, but swing back in. See what they can make of this. So they have some players lining up, queuing up for the ball here. And behind Higginbottom that time, uses a decoy runner. They're taken down to the ground. Good hands over there from Yale. See which side of the scrum, or ruck, that this one comes out of. Turned over by Yale. Koch moves the ball out. Across the 22 they go. And a penalty this time against Princeton. Opportunity for Yale, the Bulldogs, to move this one downfield.
That'll be a big pressure reliever there to get the territory and the possession back. One thing I'd like to maybe see Yale do is compress the space a little bit. I love that they're playing wide to wide, but you do have to play the conditions, and maybe that helps them build a little bit of confidence and continuity in the game to allow them to play that more expansive rugby later on. So maybe look for an adjustment just to make those spaces a little bit tighter, to make those passes easier, so they can start to build into the game a little bit. Yeah, and you see that the tackler hasn't rolled away. This Jackal is probably in a good position there coming through the gate and releasing, but that's the order of operations at that breakdown, right? The tackler must roll away, or else you can't get any reward for the tackle assist.
Line out coming for the Bulldogs just outside their own 40-meter line. Moving it into the midfield. Wiseman, the fly half, sets up a couple of runners there. Just crashing it in, trying to get their shape set. Ball comes around here. Nice little pass to the outside, a show, and keeps it. Might want to let that player go, but Stretch is going to take that one in. She's going to have to move that one again. Just inside their half of the Bulldogs. Maybe some room in back if they can get it there, but they're going to have a run. Looking for another little pass there as Wiseman. These over-the-top passes in this weather can be a little dangerous, but queuing up, we're getting a couple of them for a turnover by the Tigers. Tigers on the move here. Princeton Tigers. Ozer Razin. Player's going to have to come in and step into scrum half position or go for the pick and go, which they have, but maybe turned over here by the Bulldogs. Good work at that breakdown. That is the number 6, Dominic Gearing.
And that was a really, really lovely job by the blindside flanker. Great job to find himself in position in the gate. Gets himself into a really, really strong body profile over the top of the ball. And you see there just the slip at the breakdown for the first arriving support for Princeton creates the time for that Jackal turnover, and that slippery ground rears its ugly head again.
Gearing, a first-year player from Austin, Texas, went to Dripping Springs High School. Off of the line out from the penalty come the Bulldogs. Bulldogs inside their own 40. We're scoreless here. Just about 14 minutes gone in this 2023 Koranda Cup. Another penalty not releasing against the Princeton Tigers. We will see what the Bulldogs decide to do this one. Might be time to just slow things down and put it to the corner, Joey.
Yeah, again, it's been a real slog back and forth with the dropped balls, with the sloppy quality of the ball on the ground. And it looks like they're going to kick to corner and have a real opportunity now, and really their first opportunity to attack inside the Princeton 22. And here you see the penalty again, and it looks like, yep, you've got to release that player when their knee touches the ground there, so just holding on and preventing the play of the ball a little bit too long by Princeton.
Excellent work there defensively in the line out from Princeton to deny the ball, but it just gets kicked out, so Yale will have a line out just a little further out now. See the big number 3, Gus Buck, lined up at the front, the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. 5-man line out here for the Bulldogs, stepping into the middle. Little change, but they're going to go there to Diaz. Ignacio Diaz brings that one down. Little wrap around the back, looking for a runner to hit some space. Well covered by that Princeton defense. There's some runners out wide. If the Bulldogs can get it here, off they come. Maybe meant for someone else, but going to stay to hand, be able to recycle this ball. The work through their structures are the Yale Bulldogs. Big pressure coming on at the breakdown from Princeton. just slows it down. Little ill-advised pass there to the Bulldogs. We're going to come back for the Tigers. Tigers on the move. Another little bit of a mess, but a player coming in off sides there for Yale. It's going to be a line. It's going to be a penalty for Princeton. Thought about going quick. Just going to slow it down here.
I really love these tip passes that the Yale Bulldogs are using to shift the point of attack and to challenge and force the Princeton defense to make some decisions. But some of the types of passes they've been using have been a little bit ill-advised. So we see ball is just not quite out there, and the Yale player is early to go, tackling the scrum half before he's pulled that ball out of the breakdown. That's the penalty. And Princeton have the opportunity to advance the ball down the field.
You see referee McIver just having a little chat there with Drew Ward. The ball is going to come in. It's Skinker going to put this one in, the number 8 for Princeton. Skinker, a junior from Lexington, Kentucky, gets that ball in. Another little messy line out here. These conditions, although the sun has come out here in New Haven, Connecticut, is still wreaking havoc with a wet field. Passes out to that left-hand side. Referee going to whistle that one up. We're going to come back, I believe, for a penalty against Princeton. Or knock on, excuse me. It'll be a scrum here for the Bulldogs. 17 minutes gone. Still scoreless here, Joey.
Yeah, I do love the adventure from both scrum halves. Anytime there's a whistle, they're sprinting to the mark, even when it's a scrum, trying to get that quick tap away. And maybe settling things down is the right decision, as we see another knock on there at the back of the line out. So maybe a little bit more caution and a little bit more cool heads prevailing will help teams maintain a bit of possession and build some continuity.
Coming off the back now are the Bulldogs through Varela, the captain, Liam Varela. Picks this one back up, moves it to a waiting forward there, powering their way into the Princeton defense just inside their half, looking to get some further momentum here. Ball slides through the back, having to be picked up by one of their outside backs. They've lost a few yards, and a bit of the story of the game here for both of these teams. And ball back here to Yale. They're going to go to the boot with that one. Has it gone directly to touch? Or did it come from inside the 22? Assistant referee says we should play it up here. We'll see if both of them agree.
And there in the replay, we clearly see that that kick is from outside the 22. We would expect that
referee. Assistant referee Gareth Cuddy there off to the side, and they're going to bring it back to the proper point.
That's what the conferences are for there. Sometimes it's difficult in the pace of play to remember exactly where that last ruck was, where exactly that kick came from, but good job to get the right decision.
Rupert Peacock goes up for that one, but can't hang on to it. So Theo Sandstrom's going to take it down for Yale, the senior mathematics and linguistics major from Williamstown, Massachusetts. Playing here for the Bulldogs. A nice attempt at a kick there. A beautiful block of a kick there. And diving into the try zone they go. First blood may be to the Princeton Tigers here. And it looks like it certainly is, as referee McIver whistles that one up. 5 points to the good for the Tigers.
You see both teams having to kick off back foot and off of kind of sloppy platform.
Mistake there from us. It's actually going to be a grounded by Yale. That went directly out, however, from the resulting kick. But take a look at the original one here, Joey. Nice block.
Yeah, no, those charge downs are just coming from that sloppy platform that we've seen both teams not getting nicest, cleanest ball from the back of the ruck. They're going backwards a little bit when they're having to kick the ball. You'd like to see them use their blockers a little bit more effectively, or try to get that front football so they can get a little cleaner position to kick from. But both teams almost had a try in the first 20 minutes here from charge downs.
Speaking of 20 minutes gone. 1/4 of the game is up. We're still at zeros. That was a goal line dropout that went directly out. So it's going to be a line out here for the Princeton Tigers. They're going to go to the front, see if they try to go to a maul here. Another bit of a messy one. Here come the Bulldogs. Bulldogs at their own 5-meter line. Opportunity to clear their lines if they can get this one cleanly back. Have done. Need a better kick this time. Doesn't find too much ground just inside their 22. Princeton line out. Territory going to the Tigers at the moment, Joey.
Yeah, and like we talked about, you got to find to turn territory into points. We've now seen 3 missed lineouts from the Princeton Tigers. This is the most recent one, and 5 meters out from the line, that one really, really hurts. Princeton needs to get this accurate, get the ball into their playmakers, and try to turn this territory in possession into points.
Princeton having a bit of trouble with the lineouts here and gets that one down, but not cleanly. Players taking the ball just a bit flat-footed there as Juan Salazar. Ball squirts out the back at their 22, getting driven back. Nick Heyman comes in to make that hit for the Bulldogs, but picked up by the Tigers. Tigers again at the Yale 22. Looking for some purchase on this one. Little kick came in. Referee McIver didn't quite spot it, so going to clean it up again. Tigers on the move here. Fullback Thomas Larson steps in at first receiver. Ball comes away. Forwards obviously wanting to get a hold of it as they do, but bobbled and comes off to the side. A couple of their backline players waiting out there, but they're going to use forwards instead, but turned over here by the Bulldogs. Bulldogs from inside the 22, but pass back in. Have to get rid of that one. Nice little show of the ball there. Coming around there is Larson. Larson gets a pass away, breaking some ground off to the right-hand side. Here comes Princeton back inside the 22. Building a good beachhead inside this 22 for the last few minutes are the Tigers. Gonna have to find some runners. A bounce pass there doesn't work, but the gap opens up and a break comes in, and the Princeton Tigers will get that number for you. Try awarded this time. Princeton on the board at the Koranda Cup from their fly half, Fergus Neville, the sophomore.
And that is the payoff of a sustained period of almost 15 minutes of pressure down in your opposition end. Eventually the gaps are going to open up. Eventually the discipline's going to fade in the defense, and that's what we just saw. Really, really great play by Ozzy Razine, the scrum half for the Princeton Tigers. His players are really kind of just rolling the ball back for him and letting it squirt out of the breakdown. And he's starting to look a little bit more settled and taking that ball cleanly. It seems like a tactic to try to get that really quick play of the ball. Of course, the challenge there is it's a little bit more difficult to handle, but that plays really great job.
Taking a look at here, Joe, as you pointed out, nice work. Just a gap opens up there in the field, and no problem. Neville just spots it, clear line under the Yale posts. Try awarded to the Tigers.
For Yale, really simple things to work on, though. Just improve that connection a little bit. It's been pretty good for most of the game, just a temporary lapse in the lateral connection of the defense, and that's what creates the space for the big number 10 to run through. But look for that to be improved quickly here, and an opportunity off the kickoff for Yale to put the ball deep into your opposition territory.
Yale with the kickoff, just under 25 minutes gone in the Koranda Cup, down 7 points at home. Koranda Cup named for Rob Koranda, Princeton grad. Princeton proud to play this game every year. Good tackle from the Bulldogs. They slide their defense out. A little more confidence from the Tigers at the moment. They go wide with that one. There's some open space in the runner, but they're going to pull it back in tight. But another break opens up there, and here come the Tigers. Nice turn of speed. Ball winds up in the hands of Rob O'Brien. Rob O'Brien, the junior, takes that one in. Referee spots a little infraction. We'll come back for a scrum here to the Bulldogs. Bulldogs need to answer.
I really love the adventure in that last set of attack there to get the ball wide. You see that the Bulldogs are maybe getting a little fatigued from the long spell in defense in their own 22, and the gap's starting to open up, and really great job by Princeton to identify and exploit the space on the edge.
See Princeton Tigers coach Rich Beck watching his team. That scrum goes down, we'll just bring that one back up.
Referee McIver looks like he knows exactly where the issue is, taking a knee to have a perfect view of what's going on between Maple Moody and Theo Sandstrom. He has clearly identified his two problem children.
I think it's Theo Buck on Gus Buck on that side for Yale. A 3 to a number 4, but yeah, there's certainly some work going on there. Nice break here in the midfield from the Bulldogs. Going to have to clean that one up. It comes out the back. Got some runners working their way around. Ball comes out here to the wing. A little slow to get there. The pods of forwards coming around for this Bulldogs team. Setting up for the moves on the way back. Now they should have some runners out. Take that one straight in is Sandstrom. Koch looking for it, gets it back inside their 22 again, but pass back in. Another kick directly to the Princeton Tigers, taken by Myers. He moves it across the field. Larson taking a long way around. Looking for some runners out wide. Connection doesn't happen. We're going to come back here. Referee spots a forward pass. Can't quite see the hand motion here, but having a conversation with his assistant referee. We'll see what the eventual call is, as it will be a line out here to the Yale Bulldogs.
I've really enjoyed how referee McIver has kept this game going. There's been a ton of ball in play, and you're starting to see a few tired legs and some gaps to open up. But that's a real skill on the refereeing side to get teams from set piece to set piece and get that ball back in play. And we have been treated to a lot of lovely ball and play time here.
All up there to the Bulldogs, little show and go. They're going to take that one in tight, but knock on ensues. We come to a scrum for Princeton. 27.5 minutes out from the start of the game now. Another Princeton opportunity inside the Yale half. Territory all to the Tigers at the moment.
Right behind the scrum, you can see how strong that wind is blowing at the Princeton's back via that 22 flag. And that's something that's really important, right? That could be a 2 or a 3 score wind right there. And so Princeton really need to look to get points. If you're Yale, you're probably pretty content with the score line right now if you can just keep your connection and hold out for the rest of this half and then have that strong wind at your back in the second.
Pick off the back there from the Tigers. Players coming in, Higginbottom picks it up and barrels right in, forces an offsides against the Bulldogs. Good work by Higginbottom, the econ major. It's a rower for Great Britain. Ball goes up, nothing happening there. We're going to go back to a penalty for the Yale, Princeton Tigers, excuse me.
Yeah, and it was a bit unlucky, I believe, for the captain, Liam Varela. Comes right out of that breakdown, stands up, and finds himself on the wrong side, offside, and almost gets baited. Doesn't have a choice but to go for the tackle as he's getting stiff-armed as he tries to retreat on sides.
Higginbottom, good play there. Big boy, 2-time European silver medalist in rowing, according to his notes.
That is one of the hardest things to have caught on film right there, John. You never want to see that happen. You take
I
the
see
tap,
his teammates
see the
reacting there. They're waiting for the ball to go wide.
You know, given that
14
it was
guys playing
forward, given that it was a forward, I think it's a little bit fair because how many times are you in a scrum and you win the ball and then there's a knock on by the backs and they react that way. So.
Good quick hand here from Yale. That one pops forward, however. Assistant referee Chris Casper on the spot.
And you see, as they make that offload, hasn't won contact, hasn't separated his hands from the defender. You know, those are two of the three things on your checklist. You want eye contact, you want to win you want to win the contact, and you want to get your hands separated. If you don't have those three things, you're not going to have a great offload.
To me, Joey, it's the the one of these players to do the fancy offload. All he had to do was just hold that ball in two hands. He could have gotten it away in a pretty straightforward pass and still taken the defender out of the play, but decided he wanted to look cool while he was doing it too.
Yeah, and maybe that works on a perfectly sunny day in Florida when it's 90 degrees, but perhaps it's not the option in New Haven on a blustery and wet pitch.
Princeton forwards getting scooped up there. Penalty against Princeton, unable to withstand the strength of that Bulldogs pack. A good moment for the Bulldogs. 9 minutes on the game clock here in this half.
And again, an opportunity to relieve a bit of territorial pressure. Get that ball out of their half and just milk away time in this half against the wind. So far,
at the Princeton 40-meter line.
So far, I have to imagine that Coach Craig Wilson very, very happy with his team's connection and holding Princeton out in this first half.
To the front go the Bulldogs. Koch moves that one out into the hands of Wiseman. They've got runners in the middle of the field looking for a player off the shoulder. They're going to go set it up there. Nice starter play from the Bulldogs. Penalty against Princeton. They decide to go quick to the Bulldogs. Just about 30 meters out from the line with another penalty here for not back 10. So they have a free play, but we're going to come back here. Be a penalty against Princeton just in front of the post. Kickable position, or they can go to the corner, Joey.
Definitely a kickable position on most days. It'll be interesting to see if they'll go for it because it is directly into the wind. If you got a guy with a good strong leg, you might fancy yourself from this position, but it looks like they'd rather opt for the scrum.
I was wrong with both my choices. We're going to scrum here to the Bulldogs. Center of the field, 22 meters out. Have a great number 8 in the captain, Liam Varela. Varela from Napa, California can take this. Run
and
to either side.
Gus Bach get the upper hand in the last scrum, winning a penalty against his opposite, Maple Moody.
Ball squirts out. They're going to come off to the left-hand side. They're looking for some runners, but a nice break there from Wiseman. He spots a space. He's right at the 22. Bulldogs, plenty of work to do. This Tigers defense has been tenacious, but another penalty against Princeton. Referee blows a whistle. He's going to have a little chat here with the Princeton Tigers. And much more of this, I would imagine somebody's going to be sending 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah, you just can't be committing penalties at this end of the field, right? That becomes professional. That's using penalties to stop the quick play of the ball from the team in possession being able to use their go forward and their advantage to create points. Really great decision to have the conversation there and think about escalating.
Taking the scrum again are the Bulldogs. They've been getting the upper hand in the scrums. They'll be happy to do this. Higginbottom and Moody are going to have to really knuckle down here.
It looks like referee McIver is maybe content, maybe not. He's going back to his problem children again to make sure that they keep things square and stable. This is the side of the scrum where the Bulldogs found the advantage when they won the penalty.
Nice little run back in. Ball goes out the back for the Bulldogs. Player not isolated. Good work to get over there. And I have to come back to the left-hand side. Little tip pass. Player not getting ahead of steam on that, so you can take it a little still, but still runners off to the left-hand side. Good overload here as a dummy pod comes through. Ball goes up. It gets knocked down. Good work until right then by the Bulldogs. We're going to come back here for a scrum to Princeton.
And we've seen really great skill pressure a couple of times from Princeton. We talked about some of those offloads maybe are not great decisions, but some of it is the work rate off the line by the Princeton Tigers. Really fantastic line speed, creates the pressure, creates the knock-on.
Referee McIver talking to assistant referee Gareth Cuddy.
looks like Gus Buck will have an opportunity to really attack with McIver on the other side of the scrum, though the Tigers have the put in.
Gus Buck, a sophomore from Jacksonville, the archaeology major. Doing some good work here. Ball taken against the head. It's a rarity, but Yale comes away with it. Koch makes a little break. He's across the 22. Does he have it? He doesn't. Eventually hauled down. Referee is going to whistle here. We have another penalty card coming. Believe it's a high tackle. And a Princeton player is going to spend 10 minutes off the field. Repeated infringements inside the 22.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot in that tackle. I don't think that it was for the danger in the tackle, but to your point, in multiple infringements in the 22, that's preventing opportunities for Yale to attack and take advantage of their momentum and their go forward. And eventually you have to say these fouls are professional. You just see a great job to step past that first defender in the line for Princeton, but that one arm, the left arm of the Princeton tackler, comes over the shoulder, and that's exactly what is spotted by the referee. There's no contact to the head, so that's why there's not a higher infringement in the tackle.
Liam Varela, the captain, gets that one out, but puts it out to the wing. Probably a little ill-advised. Player was isolated out there, took a little bit of a long route around the side. Ball didn't touch, but one player up are the Bulldogs. On their own line are the Princeton Tigers with a line out here, and they've struggled a bit at line out time based on the wind.
Yeah, so far 3 missed lineouts for the Tigers, and this is one where you do not want to get it wrong, right? You're only about 10 meters out for your own line. This could be a great opportunity on broken play if it doesn't go to hand, and you see that.
And the kick comes back, nearly blocked, down into the hands of Ariel Melendez. Melendez heads in, barreling towards the line, and a break comes, and over the line they go, and off of that errant kick, the Yale Bulldogs, touchdown, 5 points, opportunity to tie it up in a tough win, but good answer late in the half from the Bulldogs.
And it all starts with the line out like you talked about, John. The ball is not won cleanly. It creates a bit of broken play and puts a ton of pressure on that kick. That kick kind of pinballs around. I think it goes off a Yale's player's foot, but because he's not able to put it into touch, the Princeton defense isn't organized, and it creates, I wouldn't say an easy, but a plausible run to the line for the try score.
Iggy Diaz touches that one down. He's delighted, is the senior. Getting a try here at the Koranda Cup.
And invoking the spirit of John Eales, we have, oh, sorry, I was looking at the graphic, not the number on the back. Thought we had a lock about to kick, and that was about to make me smile.
No, just a tall fella. But he's going to give it a go as Patrick Kinney, the senior from Eldred, New York. Hangs that one up, and it just pushes across the face there. Just over 4 minutes to go in the first half on the game clock. We'll have some referees' time potentially. He will keep the ultimate time as we're taking a look at it.
Yeah, just the space comes from the Princeton kick chase not being connected. Whenever you have defenders in front of or behind each other, it means there's space right and left to step to, and great footwork to weave through that Tigers defense and into the corner. You did see on that conversion attempt just how strong that wind was. That ball started on the right post, and it came back, and it ended about 15 or so meters to the left of the left post. So that wind really playing a factor in that last kick.
And we'll see how that wind plays a factor in the second half. An unbelievable offsides coming from Yale here if it's caught. I don't know if it went off somebody's hands, but it did go off somebody's hands according to referee McIver. So Yale's going to be able to play this one late in the first half. They go across the 50-meter line. Princeton defense fairly well disorganized. A little tight here. We'll see if they can move this wide. Here comes the try scorer, Diaz. Diaz powers his way in. 45 meters out. Ball comes out there to Wiseman. Wiseman finds a forward runner. Forward runner tries to put in a little tip. Nothing happening there. Attempted kick off the back. Comes back the other way. Into a Princeton player. Higginbottom has to step into the distributor role. Across the 50-meter line come the Tigers. Tigers looking for some big boys, decide to keep it in a little bit tight. Players wriggling away. Still a player down are the Tigers. Wind at their back. Ball knocked on. We'll come back here. Knock on initially against Princeton, but that's going to be the end of our first half here. 7-5, everything to play for in the Koranda Cup. We're going to step away here at Next Level Rugby. Be back to bring you the second half action just after this. Welcome back to Yale Athletic Complex. John Brother, Joey Rasmus, Koranda Cup, first half, everything's tight. Joey, let's talk through some of these.
Yeah, really great adventure for both teams in the first half. Both looking to attack wide, use the full width of the pitch, throw some offloads, and play some good attacking rugby. The challenge has been the conditions. There was a really stiff tailwind for Princeton. Now Yale has that advantage in the second half. Ground drying up as the sun starts to come up.
Yale coming from right to left on your screen with the wind in the back, as you said, Joey. Going to be an interesting one. You can see the factor right there. That wind is big. It is the Koranda Cup here at Yale University. Ball to midfield. One of the big units picks this one up and is on the march. It is that big man, Gus Buck. He's been strong in the scrums. He's strong now. Gets across the 22. Eventually hauled down. Little pick and go off the back from the Bulldogs. Bulldogs, runners out to the left-hand side here, but not going to go there right away. Player might get isolated. Does not. Ball to Wiseman now. Where's he going to go? He's going to set up one of his runners, but he can't quite sneak all the way through, about 5 meters out now. Good start to this second half for the Bulldogs. I'm sure Coach Craig Wilson and co had a good word with his team, with Mark Downs, Bob Husher, and a number of others coaching them. And here come the Bulldogs, looking out wide. Across they go. Try to the Bulldogs, possibly Patrick Kinney. The referee and assistant referee going to have a little chat here. We'll see what they come up with. And it looks like it is indeed a try.
We talked about the factor of that wind literally about a minute ago. And that first kick of the half from Yale traveled probably an extra 30 meters on top of where they were kicking to in the first half. Best return serve that Thomas Larson, the fullback for Princeton, could do was significantly muted versus what he was able to do in the first half, and that creates the counter-attack opportunity against the broken defense for Princeton. A few phases later, Yale in the corner.
Kenny with the wind coming across. Yale takes their first lead of the day here, 10-7, 2 points on offer. That kick is good, great one. Assistant referees Cuddy and Casper certainly agree with it.
And a really great job that time of getting the hands free in the offload. We talked about in the first half, some of those offloads, they were still allowing the tackler to be right on top of that ball, but really great job with the initial pass there by Aiden Stretch to keep that play alive.
Referee McIver eye on things here. Just a couple of minutes into the second half here at the Yale Fields. The 2023 version of the Koranda Cup. Current cup holders are Yale. They're going to want to hang on to this one, of course. Kick to come from Princeton. Princeton launch one high into the wind. It's inside the 22. Yale going to set this one up. See if they decide to go long with the kick again, or if they decide to run, but not rolling away against the Tigers. We're going to have a penalty here for the Bulldogs.
They'll get the best of both worlds. They'll get to kick with that wind and take possession at the lineout. Again, this will be more of a weapon for them in the second half because they have the wind at their backs. They can kick to touch more. We'll see if they can do a better job executing in the lineout than Princeton did when they had that wind and could kick to touch more frequently.
Line out here for the Bulldogs, going with a 5-man. See Isaiah Wright in the back there, the junior from Durant, Oklahoma. Political science major at the university. That one sails over into Princeton hands. Big hit comes in from Wright, but it's going to be possession here to the Tigers one way or the other. Little pop up to the forwards. It looks like Higginbottom waiting for that one. Cora 4 goes in and cleans up. Princeton on the move now, just outside the 40-meter line of the Bulldogs. Good battle for the ball. Comes back Yale way. Yale launches a kick with that wind, rolling back over there inside the 22. Into the hands of one of their waiting back row players. Sneaks away from one tackle. Taken down in the second. Swarmed by Bulldogs at the moment. See if they can pick this one up and take it away. Have done. Bulldogs on the march. They got runners out to the left-hand side if they can move it, but not rolling away are the Tigers, so we're going to go back for a penalty. Good opportunity here for the Bulldogs. Wind at their back. Certainly picking up a head of steam, Joey.
And we see the wind again wreaking havoc. Another great example of how much more length these kickers have when they've got that wind at their back. Almost a 50-22, but it bounced back in field. Really great job by the Bulldogs, though, to chase that and back up their kicker's effort to create the turnover at the first breakdown. A kick is only as good as the chase.
Absolutely, and penalty here for the Bulldogs. They're going to elect for a scrum. They're enjoying this part of their day. Scrum in there to the Bulldogs. Little high with a pass. Going to have to take that one directly in, and they do. Just set it up. See if they get some wraparound players there. Wind almost takes that one away. They get it in the hands of the try scorer. A basketball pass up over the top. Just a push pass there from the Bulldogs. Ball gets turned over to the Tigers, possibly, but coming back the other way again are the Bulldogs. A lot of tenacity at the breakdown. Big run, big hit. They're inside the 22. Ball away again. Can they get it to the width? Do they have the runners? Looking for a little pass there, looking for a little offload. It doesn't materialize. Still got runners out to this right-hand side. A little overload on the edge there. If they can get it, they're going to go for a little chip over the top. Space open. But mark called by the Tigers, wisely so. Going to be able to slow this one down inside their 22.
Yeah, that's a savvy move from, I believe, one of the seniors on that Princeton team. Taking that ball live is puts you under a ton of pressure.
Certainly. Yale at their own 40-meter line. Just getting rid of that one. Again, wind at their back in the move. Referee McIver making sure Princeton is onside there. Big run coming in from Wiseman. Ball to back. Koch again. Puts it up to one of the big boys. Another crash just outside the 22. About 30 meters out, actually. Working the ball across. Bit of a sideways run from Diaz that time. We have a Princeton player down. Going to need to get a 10-2 back there. Another little pick off the side of the physical game taken away by the Tigers. Player heading up just off the left-hand side there. Referee McIver is going to whistle that one down. We have a player down that just needs to be attended to here for Princeton. So action will stop to ensure this player's safety.
Good resolute defending there from Princeton despite playing with 14. One thing I started to notice is Princeton's really shooting up on the second receiver, and you have to wonder if Yale might identify that. Obviously, it's a high risk, high reward going for that intercept or to catch that second receiver the second they catch the ball. But that does create space for a ball carrier to step in behind the shooter and create a little bit of a line break and get past the defense. So look for the Yale Bulldogs to maybe have a conversation about that as an opportunity here as the second half wears on. If Princeton. It was a long period of play there for the Tigers with only 14 in the defense. And you see a tackle and the player kind of falls awkwardly on the shoulder there. You hope that shoulder is okay.
Yeah, tough one there. We'll all be hoping for the best for this young man.
And it looks like it might have been Azhar Razine, which scrum half very important to the continuity of the Tigers' attack, and he's been doing a good job of cleaning up some of the challenging breakdown balls that are being put. by
All
the.
right, well, while we wait here, we're going to take a look at some first half tries. A lot of tries from the game. Joey, take it away.
Yeah, well, first one, just an extended period of ball in play. The Bulldogs lose their connection, and the gap opens up for Fergus Neville to run through. Then the kick counter attack from a bad position, kicking under pressure. Princeton doesn't really have the chase to follow it up. Creates a space for the. Then, of course, Thomas Larson's nice offload to keep the ball alive. They shift it out into Stanley Shapiro's hands. And all starts, though, that final try with a great kicking game of the Bulldogs to get in the right area of the field and create a counterattack opportunity.
Player taken care of for Princeton. He seems to be okay. Good medical staff here at Yale University. We are back underway. Koranda Cup. About 8 minutes going to the second half. Yale in the lead, 12-7. Wind at their back. Scrum for the Tigers. Tigers have runners coming in either direction. Just put a little shift pass away there. Now they've created some room. Nice break. Looking for a pass. Ball gets knocked back by the Yale Bulldogs. Yale Bulldogs. Ball just flying all over the place with these two teams. Assistant referee Cuddy sees a knock on there. So assistant referee and ref will have a discussion.
Yeah, like we talked about in the first half, there's a very simple checklist for a good offload. Have you won contact? Have you gotten your hands free and separated the ball from the defense? Have you made eye contact with your receiver? And it's really on that second one where both teams have struggled. They're just not getting the ball away from the defender, and they're allowing the defender to influence that offload pass.
Welcome in here from Koch, the ecology and evolutionary biology major. First year player at Yale, a little wrap around the back. They're going to get into that wind. Looking to keep the back three off balance here for the Tigers. Have done, but a nice break up the left-hand side, gaining a little bit of ground with the Tigers, but knock on referee McIver right on the spot for that. Pick and jam just to get things organized here for the Bulldogs. Now that they should have some room out there. Just go in with a little inside runner. Watch again. They're going to go to the wind one more time, trying to pick at those spaces. A nice high bounce there. And Princeton guessed him with that one back out. Was there a late hit down there? Players calling for it. Another Princeton player down. And certainly a referee, McIver, is going to come back for this. It's going to be an offsides against Princeton, however. Princeton players were calling for a late hit. It's going to be a penalty for Yale, and they immediately choosing the scrum here.
And we'll see if they have to slow it down here. I believe there was a Yale player on the ground. Looked like perhaps cramping on the far side of the field. Again, playing in these extended periods of ball and play. A man down, but it looks like he's probably back on his feet as they look to pack the scrum quickly. Referee McIver wants to get this ball back in play. He is not allowing long stoppages.
We certainly had good ball and play time. We're about 10 minutes gone in the second half. Ball at the feet of Varela. Varela comes around, caught up by one of the Tiger players, but not held. Able to get up and keep his legs driving. Looking for a little pick and go around the side. And looking for the line they go are the Bulldogs. Bulldogs just a couple of meters out. Big shift, big move, looking to get it over, but have not. They've got some runners out there. They're going to the left. Again, thwarted by that Tigers defense. Might want to look at going just a hair wider. Just running into the tough parts of this defense. See where they go from here as the players reset. And over they go. Are they in the try zone? They are not. They're held up according to referee McIver. So it will be a goal line dropout here for the Princeton Tigers.
A little bit disorganized in the final phases of that attack there. They had all 8 bodies stand of the forward pack right around the ball, and the scrum half couldn't get that ball away to his backs to get the ball to space if he wanted to. Just a few too many bodies in that space. So maybe in the future, if the Yale Bulldogs get down on that line, and it's either pressure on those forwards to finish that try themselves, or maybe look to take control of that situation to get some of those forwards out of his way so he can play the ball away It's Jacob Koch to get the ball away and get the ball to space to the hands of his backs.
Ball to Yale again. Little bouncer there again outside the 22. Put the ball around the back. Try score. Iggy Diaz moves that one. The camera angle will look forward from here, but certainly not. Referee McIver on the spot, one of the better referees in the area. Puts a big pass into the Bulldogs there. Watch one more time, looking wide. Wiseman has a little space. He's going to wrap around. Can he get to the try zone through here? He does not. He needs some help. Players coming in to set that one. They've got an advantage out here, the numerical advantage, not a penalty advantage, and they're going to score on the right-hand side. There are the Yale Bulldogs. Good work with the win in the back. Second half turning into all Bulldogs. Great try, Joey.
Yeah, that's all set up by Lucas Wiseman finding that first half gap. He spots Rob O'Brien of the Tigers shooting up out of the line, and you see Wiseman going through there and creating the initial go forward, the initial momentum that builds to the try. We talked about it at the last stoppage in play for the injury, that O'Brien was shooting up in that channel, and we wondered if the Bulldogs would make an adjustment to exploit it, and they must be listening to the broadcast, John, because about 2 minutes later you see him exploit it for the try.
Good work, kick to come. This one's a little bit into the wind, this kick. So it'll be a little bit of a challenge here for the Bulldogs, but taking a better lead. See some of the fans gathering back there at this beautiful facility.
They
Just
seem to be coming out of the woodwork.
Historic Yale baseball field. Yeah, this morning was not so picturesque here in New Haven. Lots of rain, lots of wind.
It's night and day. Now the skies are bright blue, and they were certainly dark gray when we got this game underway today.
That one's going to ride a little low, so it's going to be 17-7. 15 minutes gone in this second half. Plenty to play for. We'll take another look.
Really great, strong body profile just to stay square, keep driving those legs through contact. Princeton defense wasn't necessarily in a terrible position to bring that ball carrier to ground, but really great work to drive through the contact. That's what's going to make a coach happy, especially a contact coach, to see staying square through contact and driving those legs till you get over the line.
Craig Wilson, the contact coach, certainly will be happy about that one. Good launch downfield for Yale. Good return. Coming across the 50-meter line are the Princeton Tigers. A couple of subs have rolled in here. See big Harry Cassidy for Yale. We'll talk about the big number 16 working his way back there. President of the club, the gambler on the field. A penalty against Yale this time. Princeton at the 5-meter line.
You talk about John.
Line, the 5-meter line.
You talk about tactical decisions that can make a big impact on the day, and you got to wonder if the coaching staff and the captains knew what the weather report was, and waiting till the second half where the ball's a little bit less slick, to take that wind advantage and really be able to use that wind advantage to pay off for points, just because the handling's a little bit more sound when you don't have the ground as wet. So really great decision, if that was intentional by the Yale coaches and captains, and if they did win the coin toss.
The 5-man line out here coming to the middle. A little shift there from Princeton. Ball comes down. Referee says not straight, however. Yale gets the opportunity here. So you see the big man in the tights there, Harry Cassidy, into the game.
And he wanted a scrum. He was walking towards the referee. There was a little indecision from his teammates, but he said, I'm here to do one thing, and that is to drive the Princeton pack backwards. We'll see how he does in his first engagement here.
It's what he enjoys. As a cousin that plays at Lindenwood, does Harry Cassidy. Yale launches that one downfield into the safety of touch to be a line out, but it's going to come back according to referee McIver. Line out for Princeton.
So the mark of that
inside the 22.
Yeah, exactly. The mark of that scrum was outside of the 22. So the whole phase of the possession needs to be contained within the 22 for you to be able to kick it out on the fold there. Again, even the back foot of the scrum, I think, was inside the 22, but it's where that initial mark was. And because referee McIver set that mark, it makes it really easy for him to remember where that phase started.
Maul coming here from the Princeton Tigers. Taken down eventually. Harry Cassidy over the top of that one. Hungry Harry going for the ball in there. Nice break from Princeton. They're looking for the line. Koranda Cup on offer here. A big thing for this Princeton Tigers team. Break comes through. They're just in front of the try zone of Yale. Nice break off to the side and hauled towards touch. They're going to get there. They're going to get to the try zone. Princeton Tigers, 5 points on the board. 17-12, kick to come. This is going to be interesting.
If the Tigers are going to come back in this one, conversion rate in the opposition 22 is going to be key. The Bulldogs are just going to get more opportunities down on the right end of the field because of the wind. And here, first trip to the 22 and a half. With the ball, with the possession, they get over the line. That's exactly what you got to do. Obviously, a little bit more pressure for the Tigers when they're in this area of the field. I like the idea to go route one and not try anything too fancy to just be sure you're getting the points.
Attempted a conversion. Tough win for this one. That's just going to hang up. Difficult there. So 5 points in it. Tied with an unconverted try. Converted try would win it. We'll put them ahead for Princeton. Plenty of time to play. As we're taking a look at it there. Yale going to want to keep down the other end with this wind.
Yeah, exactly, John. They've just got to control this territory. They've got to be really disciplined on their kick chase. The initial breakout came from a really nice long kick that turned the Princeton fullback, Thomas Larson, but because the kick chase didn't follow it, they didn't follow it up with a great kick chase. They allowed 40 or so of those meters to be made right back on the initial counterattack.
Yale looking to counter ruck in there, but Princeton gets it away just inside their own 40-meter line. Yale trying to hold him up here. Can he get his knee to the ground? He does. It's going to be a ruck. Players have to move away. We've got some runners out to the left-hand side. Just a little pop pass, trying to create some dents in that Bulldog defense. Bulldog defense wrapping there. Off to the left they come, looking to get it to the width. Can't quite find it. Princeton going to need to make some forward meters here before they move it out wide again. They put it up to a big waiting front rower. Maintaining possession, not getting too far. The Tigers swarmed by that Yale defense there. I want to think about playing a little territory game, Princeton here. And they do go to that left boot. Drops onto the field. Tackle made. Yale just inside their half, but holding a touch. It's going to be a line out here for Princeton. Good yardage for them. Good work to maintain possession.
Yeah, the Tigers notably playing a little bit more conservatively here in the second half with the possession versus the first half. A lot of tight phases, not necessarily using the same amount of width that we saw in the first half. Then a really great individual effort on the kick chase to take the ball carrier ball and all into touch and to secure possession with the meters gained.
Ball up there, contested, rolls off to the side. Referee's going to say play on. Here come Princeton inside their own half just as they break that halfway line. Yale defense regathering. Looking for a tip runner, but going to hang on to it there is Higginbottom, excuse me. Another break, just toying around that halfway line are the Princeton Tigers. Little pass out to the side, again, not making much ground, but maintaining possession. Replacement Toby Fishman in at scrum half there, moves that one away, and Fishman again, looking for some runners. Nice break off the side there, but another nice tackle. The replacement, that's Abulnaga for Princeton. They get the ball back up to one of their main runners, Cora 4, but he's taken down. They've lost about 10 yards now, have the Princeton Tigers. Ball bobbling on the ground. Bulldogs trying to swarm this one, trying to regain that territory are the Princeton Tigers. Not much happening here. A messy passage of play from Princeton at the moment. Yale continues to work hard in the breakdown here. Big Harry comes up with it. That's Harry Cassidy once again, super sub into the game for this last part as they have some runners out wide. Can they just put this one away? Yale, little bobble the ball. They get just outside the 22. Good work defensively from Princeton. Was going to stay with the Bulldogs. Bulldogs have some runners out wide, looking for a little pick and go here just to reset. Gain some good meters off of that one. Another pick and go. Can he get through? He's back to his feet. He's looking at the line. Cannot do it. Now they're just about 5 minutes out. Referee blows his whistle. Player right off his feet for the Bulldogs. You can see that pretty clearly. Penalty here in the favor of Princeton. Luke Pankey down on that one.
Both teams have to be absolutely blowing right now. That was an extremely long passage of ball in play that before Princeton finally wins the penalty. But you see those tired legs resulting in a bit of disconnection for the Princeton defense at the end there that allows the initial break, and a really, really great individual effort to get around into that breakdown and bait the Yale player into being a little too aggressive and diving directly off feet. And there is, I believe,
Princeton players just down being attended to here, so we're just going to have another little break as we wait players to get up. Look at Yale regathering there.
I believe that's the open side flanker, Luke Pankey, who's down right now. He just made the all-important try-saving tackle on the Yale ball carrier, and I'm sure his team will be appreciating that effort and hoping that he's back in and can contribute a few more to the account before this game is done. And we're going to look back here at the last Yale try. You see O'Brien, he's getting a little aggressive on the outside shoulder there, trying to shoot for the intercept pass. And that disconnection creates space behind him for number 10, Lucas Wiseman to run right through. That's where all the momentum comes from in this attack. You'd like to see O'Brien be a little bit more disciplined. If you are going to shoot up out of the line, the best time to do that is when the ball is not in hand, when the ball is in the air, just because the attack can't react. And then from there, really great job using that momentum. You see on the edge, 3 Yale ball carriers, and again, it's Wiseman getting on, or 3 Yale support players getting in on the action, all running forward onto that pass. On the other side, with Princeton playing a little bit more conservative, one of the things we've seen leave the game is them running onto the ball and capitalizing on the go forward and momentum from the previous phase. Really, really great job by Wiseman and a host of supporters there to continue the momentum of the break.
And it was Henry Large that wound up scoring that try. The senior from Washington, D.C., went to St. Albans School. Princeton player just getting checked out.
And he's looking okay. His tackle, and again, effort there. Correction, I had the wrong name on it. That was Fergus Neville.
Fergus Neville.
That tackle was a try saver for the Princeton Tigers and created the opportunity for his support to win a penalty. and relieve with the kick here.
Just about 15 minutes gone in the second half. It's 5 points in it. Kicked ahead by Princeton. It'll be their line out coming up here.
Again, it looked like a pretty good territory gain there from the kick. And territory gains are going to be at a premium into this wind. Princeton has to back it up with a great off effort at the line out here.
Ball up, a little wrestle for it with the Yale fellas, but able to take that one down. They are at their 22 here, so not sure if they can launch this one again. They're going to run it. Long way to go to the try zone for Princeton. If they decide to go that way, they're going to go with another kick. Just slicing that one downfield, this time just inside the 40. It'll be Yale ball on attack.
Good meters gained there into the wind. A good spot of space there by the touchline. And I really like the execution of that kick. The Tigers were on the front foot, so the defense is retreating, takes a little bit of pressure off the kicker, and hopefully prevents some of the charge downs that we saw in the first half.
Ball up there for Yale, knocked back by Nick Rice, replacement. They're able to hang on to that one inside the 40. They've got some big boys there if they decide to go, and they are indeed going to go that way. Another player coming in. Big Harry comes in the back to seal that one off. Out they come to the back to Wiseman. Yale on the attack here. 15 minutes to go in this contest. 5-point lead at the moment.
You have to think that the next score in this game is going to be a big one. It's going to have a lot of impact. It's very difficult to go the length of the field here for the Tigers against the wind, and you wonder how many more times they can do it in the game.
Yale knock on there. It's going to be a scrum for Princeton just inside their 40-meter line.
And you got to think that even with the knock on, Big Harry Cassidy's got to be smiling. He seems to be taking a lot of joy and pride in this area of the game. You got to love a big prop who enjoys the scrummaging, and even when his team knocks on, is ready to back it up with a big effort.
Yeah, Harry getting ready to set this one down. Been a strength, as we said, of Yale throughout the day. Nice attacking position here for them, but comes the other way. Princeton on the break. Princeton out to halfway. They've had trouble getting across halfway in this second stanza. Again, that's that replacement right there. Toby Fishman moves on out. Fishman again has some runners. Just barreling their way across that 50-meter line. Fishman calling for something. It's been turned over there by the Bulldogs. Bulldogs barrel that one just across the 50-meter line themselves. Maybe some space in behind if they decide to go there. Decide what they need to do. Wiseman gets a little bit of a messy one. Kicks it, well, the wrong way that time. So it comes down into Princeton hands at the 40-meter line. We'll just hang on to that one. Wiseman on the attack again. Are the Tigers? Could this error from Yale lead to another 5 points for them? We'll have to wait and see as ball comes back this time to Yale. Launched downfield. Players being put onside. Nobody home. It's bouncing. It's at the try zone. Is it going to stay there? Be a 22 drop if they touch it down. They have done. If it rolled at the back, it would have come all the way back for a scrum. Be a 22-meter dropout for the Princeton Tigers.
Yeah, and that's got to be the frustration there that comes playing into the wind. You saw some really great phases of defense, some good phases of attack off of that scrum that started the passage of ball in play. And just one kick can take the ball all the way deep into their own end of the field.
For large Yaleys to kick that one over. Big Harry on the left. Princeton's going to back it up. And deflected down into the hands of the Bulldogs. Bulldogs on this right-hand side, assembling their runners. Ball comes out. Nice little shove there. Wiseman finds a runner, a big, strong run coming into the middle of the field. That was Heyman, couldn't quite see as the ball comes out to one of the replacements here. Yale seemed to knock that one forward, but referee says otherwise, and he would know better than I. So Yale still in the attack just outside of the Princeton 22, just over 10 minutes to go in this second half of the Koranda Cup. The penalizer of the Bulldogs, remember they're just 5 points up. Inverted try wins it for Princeton if they decide to go.
Yeah, you got to think about your end of game management here. If you're the Bulldogs, you got to take time off the clock. You got to be secure with possession. You want to force the Tigers to exit that end of their field and have to go the entire 80, 90, 100 meters of the pitch if they're going to bring this game level and potentially win it. So you just got to be super secure in possession of that ball and make sure if you're going to give it away, don't give away an extra 30 meters with that possession too through a penalty.
Ball up to Princeton there, not straight, however. Yale will have a choice here.
It was a really ambitious throw for the Tigers to go to middle to back of that line out there. It can be a better attacking position for your backs if you can get it to the back there. But given the challenges that both teams have had throwing lineouts in this wind, you'd like to see some creativity to create space at the front. Here we see it again as the wind is just going to take that ball towards the Princeton side and to the outside shoulder of the Princeton lineout. And in the end, a very easy call for the referee.
Tough one here, wrapping around the back, looking for that kick, going for the high one this time are the Bulldogs at the 40-meter line. A little nerves come in. Player was coming on to him there, Princeton player then dove right over. Didn't quite make up for his mistake, so we'll come back here for a penalty against the Tigers. Bulldogs opportunity to push this one downfield for a line out, or they've loved those scrums today, Joey.
Yes, they have, and it's really great to see coming into the college game teams that have those replacements that can come on and make an impact, especially at scrum time. We're talking about the impact that Harry Cassidy has had in this game. That's really when teams go from being okay in middle of the pack to being excellent when they can bring on 8 substitutes and replacements that can have an impact on the game. And you see that high ball just blowing around in the wind. That is really, really tough to read. As a back 3 player, you want to move forward onto that ball, and then when it drifts backwards over your head, that can put you in just an absolutely awful situation trying to regather and secure possession.
Big man Cassidy to put this one in. Gonna go to the front of the line here. Princeton players come down. Well taken by the reserve. Nick Rice, and a big break here for Yale, looking for the individual play, but it just slips forward at the end there. Dom Gearing couldn't hang on to that one. We're going to have a scrum here for Princeton just around their own 5-meter line. Another opportunity gone begging there for the Bulldogs. Just trying to do a little too much.
Yeah, this is the right area of the field if you are gonna play with the ball. Obviously, this is going to be a really, really tough platform for the Tigers to attack from. Only about 10 meters out from their line. If we go through our checklist, he does win the contact, gets his hands free, and it looks like he makes just a little bit of eye contact there with the receiver. So that's probably one of those offloads that you're okay taking the risk. Now Princeton, with the under pressure scrum, has to go 90 meters.
Big pressure coming in here from the Bulldogs. Ball bobbles back in the try zone. This is trouble, but Princeton does a good job to get that one downfield. Not finding touch, however. Still on the move come the Bulldogs. Bulldogs in broken field here. Headed for the line. They've got some big runners ready to go. Ball coming around with Isaiah Wright. Isaiah Wright gets a couple of meters there. There's the try scorer. That's the big man, Iggy Diaz. Diaz can't find it. They've got another penalty advantage to the Bulldogs. Player whipped to the ground here. Big Harry waiting there at first receiver if they can get it to him. Harry gets his hands on the ball, puts a little move out the back, and looking for that try line are the Yale Bulldogs.
All the momentum is starting with these kicks under pressure by Princeton. There's been 2 tries already where the kick under pressure doesn't allow for a good chase. and then all of a sudden there's momentum for the Bulldogs. They've had 2 tries already, and now they get a penalty 5 meters out for the line. And what would you expect other than a scrum from the Bulldogs?
I don't know. Big Harry might want to hang on to that one. I think he could have rumbled towards the try line, but he put a nice little pass out the back door there.
You got to
Another
love, though,
scrum
those
here
forwards
for-
players listening for where the space is and moving that ball out to their support in space. Two-way communication, listening from your forwards is always something that's going to make a coach smile.
An inside run here, just looking to barrel it over are the Bulldogs. They've gotten pretty close. 5 meters out, they'll start their rumble again. Big boys coming, working their way down that side. There's the try line. Koranda Cup could be sealed here with a good try. There's Harry. Harry can't quite make it. Hungry Harry can't get into the try zone. Another penalty advantage here, barreling their way forward. There's some room out to the left there. Can they get there? Is that Diaz again? Try awarded, Yale University. Another 5 points on the board. Didn't quite see who touched that down. It was not Diaz. Another 5 points brings Yale just a little bit ahead with less than 5 minutes on the game clock.
Much better job attacking right on the try line there by the Bulldogs. There was more organization and structure. People were clearly in roles. You could tell who was getting the ball. You could tell who was in a position to support and ruck. And there was clearly an opportunity, if he wanted it, for the scrum half, Jacob Cook, to get the ball. In the end, he doesn't need it, but it was really great to see that adjustment after the previous opportunity went begging for the Bulldogs. Find your roles, find your support. And you see the reach for the try line. Good job to know where the line is.
Kick to come here from Kinney. Got some wind, gets that one up. Both assistant referees say that's good. We're at 24-12. 3 minutes to go on the game clock. Maybe a little extra time according to the referee. We'll see, but the Koranda Cup may stay in New Haven.
Either way, this has been an incredibly well contested contest. Both teams have found great connection in defense. Done great job at disrupting the skills through line speed and pressure on ball carriers.
Oof, high tackle looked like came in there from Princeton off that kickoff, but referee didn't see. It was just on the other side, so Big Harry rumbles through. Picked up, however, by Okorafor. And Princeton late in the game looking to cut down some of this deficit. Ball off the back. Here comes Princeton, well handled by the Yale defense. Another Princeton player down in the background there. They've had a few players down today. Physical contest here in the Koranda Cup. Inside their 50-meter line, big picks there from the Bulldogs. Bulldogs have a penalty advantage here. Penalty coming. This one they may want to slow down just a touch.
And the pressure on the Bulldogs just kind of comes from the support players not running onto the ball. You saw the replacement scrum half, Toby Fishman, just trying to egg his forwards to come onto his pass. And he picks up that ball expecting them to run onto it, and he looks up and no one's coming on, and then he's under pressure because that 1 or 2 seconds is all the time that the Bulldogs need to get off that gain line and get up in his face and put pressure on his pass.
Looking there at referee McIver, just having a word with some of the boys. Referee McIver having a good day today. Another scrum chosen off the penalty is going to come off the back here through Varela, or one of his teammates. Not sure if that was him coming off the back. They go in yet again. Looking for some players. They're going to take that one off to the left-hand side. Just try to barrel a little room through. Ball coming back for the Bulldogs. late in the game, 30 seconds of the game clock. Bulldogs still at it. A bump and run there from one of these Bulldogs players. They come out to the right-hand side. Little kick. There's some space back there. It bounces. Where's it going to come down? It's going to come down to Princeton. Player may get hauled in a touch and does. Late game here. A line out to the Bulldogs. Chance to extend the lead.
Really, really enjoy the game management decisions being made by the Bulldogs. Just maintain possession, force the ball as close to that Princeton try line as possible. It's going to be tough for anyone to get out of this end of the field if they can just maintain possession, don't create broken play opportunities, and a savvy move to kick it to the corner. Worst case scenario, that's bouncing out, and Princeton have to win a line-out ball 5 meters from their own line. In the end, they tackle someone, a Princeton player, into touch, and that gives them the ball.
Cassidy, Big Harry puts it up, ball down to Diaz. Diaz already has one today. They're over by their own touchline. They're 5 meters out. We're in the red. 80 minutes gone on the game clock. Can the Bulldogs put another 5 points down? They have another penalty advantage here. Player reaches over and scores. Try awarded to the Bulldogs. Koranda Cup definitely staying here. Another try to the hometown Yale Bulldogs here at the Koranda Cup.
And another really great effort in contact. We've seen it twice now that the Bulldogs, they get stopped with the initial contact a little bit short of the line by the tackler, but then just really great job to stay square through the contact, keep driving the legs. 3 times they've scored like this. And then also great awareness to see that try line, not reach out so far that you're going to give the opposition time and the opportunity to knock that ball out of your hands, but knowing how long your arms are, that you have that secured and you can reach that line. It's a tough skill to have that awareness, so good job for that young man.
Kick to come here. A little bit of an angle on this one. He's hit before. Ball through there, and that one is no good. So we are going to continue on here, and that is the Koranda Cup. 29-12, the Yale Bulldogs have overcome the Princeton Tigers. The Koranda Cup will stay in Connecticut until the 2024 version. Joey, final thoughts?
Yeah, really, really great job in the first half of staying connected by that Yale team and to prevent leading too many points into the wind. And then really great job in the second half with the kicking game to put the ball deep in their end and pressure the Tigers into making mistakes on their own line.
And there you have it. The Koranda Cup again will stay in New Haven until next year. For all of us at Next Level Rugby, Chris on the ground, Ryan the man of the plan, Ginty, and Joey Erasmus, I'm John Broker. We'll see you at the next rugby game.